Back at her on Barn Burner. It is a Tuesday. We are into the month of May. We're already 9 days in. 9 days into the month of May. How about that?
Just recovering from our Cinco de Mayo festivities.
Yeah. How is your recovery in general?
Very good. Strong. Good sleep last night. Appetite's back. Worked out yesterday.
Good.
I'm ready for beer again.
Excellent. Yeah, good to know. Retro, how are we doing?
I'm going right back for taco. It's Tuesday, and I'm having tacos. I'm
nice.
I'm doing it.
I don't like this Taco Tuesday thing. Everyone loves it. It feels limiting. We need tacos more than once a week, Rhett. They're just sensational.
Absolutely. 100%.
Now,
I'm making two types.
I'll ask you later. I'll make a note.
Fish and traditional.
It's important thing. Here in the Tower Chrysler Studios, welcome to it. Of course, we are always in the Tower Chrysler Studios. Consumer Choice Award winner, voted Calgary's favorite Chrysler Dodge dealer. 10901 McLeod Trail South, towerchrysler.com. This week, if you're thinking about buying, a vehicle, and why wouldn't you go to Tower? You will be entered to win a $350 gift card to the lovely Nordic Spa in Kananaskis in time for Mother's Day. They give you those big robes, those big, comfy, thick.
Because it gets cold out there in the winter.
Sure does.
It's got to be a cozy robe.
It's the mountains, Ryan.
Thin one.
Yep. We're in the Rockies. It's good to have friends in high places, and we have a friend who is in a very high place. I don't know if you knew this, but our next guest, before we get to him, he was sequestered yesterday.
That sounds bad.
He was sequestered and hanging with your buddy Gary Bettman. That's right, in Secaucus, New York.
New Jersey.
Secaucus, New Jersey, which is close to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Seravalli, our NHL insider.
Wow.
But before we get to Frank,
I want to see proof of this.
I just want you to see this. You know what he was doing? Hobnobbing is what he was doing
in
yesterday.
Hoboken? Hobnobbing in Hoboken. Secaucus.
Nearby Hoboken. But yeah, let's so take a look at this from this is the internal draft lottery central.
This is the war room.
The nerve center. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
In addition, 3 members of the media are in the room. Aaron Portzline from The Athletic, Frank Seravalli from Daily Faceoff, and Stephen Wino from the Associated Press. Gentlemen, wave to the camera.
It looks scintillating. Frank Seravalli, our NHL insider for Bonton Meats, joins us now here on the program. Hello, Frank.
What a time to be alive.
What a time. So how did it come to be that you were behind the scenes? Because that is, and I put together a video, and I won't bore you to go through it all again, but we'll show the ping pong balls and the machine and all of this sort of thing.
Frank, an expert on ping pong balls.
You and Gary hanging out yesterday. How did that come to be?
So I actually asked the NHL if I could be in to witness it. I've never done it. They have reporters in every year that sort of witness the proceedings, and I wanted to do it, and I guess I picked a really good one, not just because of the stakes with Connor Bedard, but also because of where he ended up going. You see everyone on social media, this tinfoil hat, this is rigged. Of course you want to send him to Chicago, big market. This is the NHL's golden child team after Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane are leaving. This is the perfect guy to pass the torch to for relevancy. And I've seen all of it, and it's just, I was in the room. It's a total crock of shit.
People have made up their minds, Frank. It's rigged. Whether that's real or not, they've made their minds up. I'm sorry.
Look, I appreciate a good conspiracy theory. I live with an anti-vaxxer. Like, I get it. I understand, but this ain't it.
Yeah, it was. Having said all that, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if I buy into all that, Frank. I mean, they were out to screw the Sabres in '99 for sure. We were going to get screwed. The Panthers got screwed, and also the Flames weren't going to win. We couldn't let the Flames win in 03-04. I mean, There's been
It's beyond the lottery.
numerous situations I could debate you on. How about the no goal for Brett Hull? How about the next year, no goal in Philadelphia when you cheating bastards shot a puck through the side of the net and those rotten pricks counted it?
Through the side of the net, Frank.
I mean, the NHL remains incompetent. I think that's a key thing here we have to remember.
Well,
or that Warner gets screwed.
And so, okay, so let's be totally transparent about the draft lottery, and let's have a real conversation, which I did in my story on dailyfaceoff.com today, outlining my whole experience and what it was like. They couldn't get out of their own way in the presentation of the actual draft lottery results. You saw the gaffe that occurred production-wise, which caused Kevin Weeks to read aloud that there was a change in the order and that he basically spoiled the moment. It's not his fault. The league spoiled the moment for the Columbus Blue Jackets before going to break. And so my solution to all of that, it's very simple. Being in that room was incredibly eye-opening because it's intense. First off, there's this sort of surgical precision to the process. Everything is done in a very timely and orderly fashion. There's this whole list of it's a 10-minute monologue. You obviously saw the video that Gary Bettman, he reads all the rules, he introduces everyone in the room, he shows the papers. Like, those ping pong balls came in a black plastic hard case that is literally zip tied together. Someone snips it, it's all, you see everything, it's all on the up and up. The amazing part about that is the drama that exists between, right in between balls 3 and 4 to determine where Connor Bedard is going. It's 20 seconds. It feels like forever. And I was not expecting that at all. I was figuring, sterile room, conference room, kind of a process, yawn, whatever that might be. But you're sitting there and you're trying to flip through these 1,001 different combinations that are out there saying, okay, so what are the options for ball 3? Where could he possibly be going? To solve the NHL's own problem, instead of flipping over these cards, which as great of a TV presenter as Bill Daly is, you don't need to do it. Take that damn machine that they have and wheel it down the hallway into the actual studio itself and just press play. All you have to do is do the same damn thing in front of everyone because it is amazing. Could you imagine the TV drama and the pause? Instead of calling these balls out at 20-second intervals, you stop after the third ball and you go, hey, here are the possibilities. Here are the 7 places Connor Bedard can still go to. Here are the live odds in the exact second.
Yep.
Connor, how you feeling? Hey, Kyle Davidson in Chicago, how you feeling? Jarmo Kekalainen, oh man, your team's out. What does that feel like? Do it for real in front of everyone, because I watched the real thing 90 minutes before it actually happened, and it was like the hairs on my neck were standing up. It was cool. Who cares about these dumb cards?
The 20 seconds between balls would be problematic. You know what? I'll wait on the video. We'll play it after we let Frank go because we got Frank. We don't need to waste his time. But they take 20 seconds, so it's start the machine and now you wait for 20 seconds.
If you have it queued up, Alex, play it because I'd like.
Well, I edited it. Go ahead. I
So,
sped shit up because
play some Survivor music. Play something like incredibly dramatic in between those.
We're talking
20.
about a half-hour show anyway, guys. A half hour is way too fucking long.
The whole thing's done in 4 minutes, and that was 2 draws.
Okay,
it's the
Alex,
best 4 minutes of the season.
Start it over again, Alex. Sorry, with volume up. Again, now I've edited this for our own sanity purposes and cut a lot of stuff out. So here's Gary and Secaucus.
Yeah, Secaucus, also known as the devil's asshole, by the way.
Rolling? Let's do it. It is the 8th of May, 2023. Front page of today's Bergen Record, Wall Street Journal, New York Times. It is May 8th. The lottery machine besides me will be loaded with 14 balls. Get a good look at that? Let's start by beginning to show each ball one at a time. 1, 2. Three,
Count Dracula here.
4, 5, 6, 7,
This is quality editing.
9,
Dean's getting good.
11, 12, 13, and 14. Please load the balls into the machine and start it.
Please load the load.
Begin.
So this guy, I love when he's like, turn around and look at the clock. And he's like, draw.
They have one guy barking out draw every 20 seconds. So this is how long you have to wait. Like, look.
It's amazing. You play some dramatic music. Dun, 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 dun. Like, dude, this is a made-for-TV moment.
5, 4, 5, 9, and 13. Scott Clark, what? Chicago Blackhawks will have the first selection of the 2023 NHL Draft.
Okay, so pause it right here. So
Yeah,
I
that's
was
the end of it
sitting
anyway.
directly to Scott Clark's left there, the guy from Ernst & Young, the auditor in the process. And in front of me, it's been publicly available since last Friday, well before the draft lottery, are all those 1001 combinations, and they're in order. So as the balls are coming out, you can actually like start to cross off like, okay, who's out of the mix, and figure out, just like I said, between that third and fourth ball, all you got to do is pause it. It's unbelievable television right there. You do not have to overthink this. And so the crazy part about this, after all this wraps, we do another draw for the second pick, which is Anaheim. All of that is said and done in under 5 minutes. And then they spent the next sort of hour and a half production-wise figuring out the show, and they're putting the right logos on the cards. You don't need the cards. Just
Especially
do
when
this.
people think it's rigged. Yeah.
You know what? You're not wrong, because some of it you would have to trim the fat. Because, I mean, 1, 2, some of that you can probably avoid. There's a way around that.
We
but
did a half-hour show here. Like, my God.
But
it's
it's
not like what they're throwing on is so scintillating.
No,
There
I
isn't 20-second
understand.
gaps. My
I
Lord.
understand, but I invite you to then watch the 30-minute video. That I mean, you can't
First
do
off,
what they
it's 16 minutes, and that was 11 of it was Gary reading the rules. You don't need to do all that.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Give me
but
the
you're not
5
wrong.
juicy minutes.
If you did the first 3 balls, then so after the first 3, isn't everyone still kind of in?
Lots of teams would be.
Because there was still, what, 7 or 8 teams that had a chance?
The Flames were 1, but they could only get up to 6, right? So there's only a certain number of balls.
No, the Flames were out at that point. So almost everyone was out. So not almost everyone. The only team that was out of the top 11 that was still in the mix was Nashville. So if Nashville won on the last ball, that pick would have reverted then to Anaheim, because Nashville could only move from 15 to 5. So the other teams that were out that were in the lottery were the Vancouver Canucks, Bedard's hometown, the Flyers, the Detroit Red Wings, and one additional team I had in my story.
Columbus?
But you can actually – no, Columbus was still in. They had 2 out of the final 11. Anaheim had 3, and the Blackhawks had 2. A couple other teams, I think San Jose, like there's a few teams that were, just had 1 ball. So that's the cool part. So like you could have a lower third on your TV screen of like, okay, after those 3 balls, it's super simple to find on the sheet. Here's who's still in the mix. Put a big X over the teams that are out. That's it. It's amazing. Like you could even, as you go through it, like after the second ball, like
Live
this
odds.
team's out. Their logo turned gray. This team's like, that's what you use the 20 seconds for.
Yeah, and honestly, if you have that kind of info, it's not dead 20 seconds. You might want a minute and a half to consume it all and say, oh my gosh, like here's the list of who's left. And then react to the teams getting knocked out. There's their GM, pout face, whatever.
It's definitely better than Bill Daly flipping cards.
But flipping cards and you have a production gaff leads to all this tinfoil hat bullshit that I can tell you isn't real.
Well, yes and no, but like, so how about this? We go back to the year after the full lockout. So Rhett and the Flames go to the final in 04. They don't play in 04-05. There is no games. They're saying they're going to completely do a lottery for all, 29 or 30 teams, whatever it is at the time. The team that was facing bankruptcy issues and needed a new rink or were going to leave Pittsburgh were the Penguins, and they get Sidney Crosby. Like, is there not a small part of you that buys into being like, boy, a lot of times the best outcome for the league sure is happening? Like, explain that
I
one.
didn't witness.
Nothing came
I
up
didn't witness that lottery. I have no idea. I can't tell you for sure what the ping pong balls looked like or whatever that case was. However they did it. I can only tell you
from yesterday, though. They could not have wanted McDavid in Edmonton, right?
No, and I'm not saying they're all rigged. I'm just saying, like, it feels like at certain times it just feels a little too coincidental. I'm not saying last night's was rigged. I don't believe it's rigged, but I just think if there have been maybe some discrepancies in the past, it allows this thing to live. I don't know that it's never ever been something that's been fudged. Like, isn't it the NBA where
can't you always find some? If Arizona won it, even though they had a very strong mathematical chance, and Bettman wants his Arizona Coyotes.
I get it.
There
was an excuse for everyone this year. That was the one,
especially a week before their vote. You could have said, "Oh, Arizona, they got to get a new arena. Let's give them Bedard so they get that vote that passes." Like, you could come up with any scenario in what you want. Here's the thing that I'm going to boil it down to. Gary Bettman has been in this job since 1992. 1993. He's on track to become the longest serving commissioner in pro sports history, which I think is one of the things that he's hanging on to get to. Does anyone really think that he's willing to stain or tarnish and wipe out his entire 30+ year legacy to rig a lottery to get a player to one city or another? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't see it.
What are you seeing in reaction with it, Chicago, given that, they made more money in season ticket sales last night than they were fined for the entire sexual abuse cover up? So it's a horrible look, right?
I saw all the tweets. I get what people are saying. And I understand some of the criticism too of the punishment and penalty, where people were saying, hey, like, consider some of these other things. Arizona, they held a pre-draft workout and they lost their first-round pick. The New Jersey Devils signed Ilya Kovalchuk to a contract that was legal at the time, and they lost their first-round pick. And then the comparison was the Chicago Blackhawks covered up sexual abuse, and they did not lose their first-round pick and won Connor Bedard. Like, I understand where that criticism comes in, and I think that part of it is valid. I also don't think that has anything to do with the results last night.
Agreed. Yeah. I think that's part of what's happening, though, right? When you see people angry and screaming, they wanted some sort of karmic thing to happen and it didn't, and then they're screaming conspiracy. It's not rational, it's human behavior.
If karma was a real thing, then the Anaheim Ducks would have won last night, because they were the team that lost Crosby in 2005. It was them and the Penguins. I mean, you could cook this any which way you want to try and produce a result that fits your narrative. I'm just here to tell you, like, I saw the people in my mention saying, look at you today, just carrying the NHL's water. If there's nothing to hide, how come there were 3 reporters in there writing it and witnessing it? This is just, you're covering up for the NHL with this story. Like, I've been among the most critical reporters of the NHL in the last 15 years. I have no skin in the game. I have no water for anyone to carry. I'm telling you what I saw with my own eyes. And I know you could say, oh, well, did you weigh all the balls that they used? Like, they used the same balls for the second draw. If there was an issue, the same numbers would have came up.
Did you have anything on that, Red? I saw you we're going to jump in.
No.
All right. Dailyfaceoff.com. You can go and read Frank's stuff. It is good stuff, Frank. Good work on that. And honestly, I think that I'm genuinely kind of entertained by Gary. There's kind of some tongue-in-cheek humor there. I think he recognizes, he knows, he's a smart guy. He knows who he is and what his the optics, all that he has. So it can be done better for sure. And I think it's. I don't know.
Now,
as far as Chicago's
concerned, he made a joke with the cards. He said, like, "Hey, you better get those cards right. We don't need any issues." Like, that's a direct quote from in the room.
Yeah.
And yet they still had a production issue. Like, live TV shit happens. It does.
So as far as the Hawks moving forward, and then we can move on because there was the Oilers in that they played last night. So just looking at the draft capital that the Blackhawks have, 2 firsts this year, 2 firsts next year, 2 the year after, something like that, and then 4 second rounders, 2 second rounders the year after, 2. They have got a shit ton of picks in the next 3 years in the first 3 rounds of each of those drafts. This has
cap space up the yinger.
This has the real makings of 2.0 kind of stuff in Chicago, doesn't it?
And you're forgetting about the 3 first rounders that they picked last year in Montreal already that are in their system. It's right. What I like about what the Blackhawks have done is they ripped the Band-Aid off. There was, this is a very clear direction that we're going in. These are all of the pieces that we're jettisoning. Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves really appreciate what you've done here, but you're not coming back. We'll put a statue up and a banner for you. And they didn't tank in the sense that it's not like they sat out pieces or they dressed a third goalie or did any sort of weird shenanigans. From the trade deadline on, they had one of the worst records in the league because they traded away all their pieces. They got rid of everyone. They signed players last year to 1-year deals to get draft capital, to get a second-round pick for Max Domi, et cetera, et cetera. I just like that it's very clear and open. Here's what we're doing. This is going to really suck for a number of years. Our team is going to be brutal. But we're trying to grab as many of the pieces that we can, and we're not confused about where we are in this process. That we're hoarding prospects right now. That's what we're doing. Getting as much draft capital as we can, and we got to hit on our picks.
So what does it look like for them moving forward? Do you see them moving some of those assets for current players? Do you see them being involved in this free agent class that you called one of the worst of all time not long ago? Do you see them chasing after some teams in cap trouble? Like there's lots of ways to weaponize the things they have.
They're involved in all those things, I think, already. I think they've engaged in conversation with teams that have cap issues to try and take players off of their hands to get more draft capital. I think they're expecting to be bad again next season. I think what getting Connor Bedard does, they've never set a timeline. I've always sort of viewed it as 5 years from now. So sometime in the 2027-28 range that they'll have a chance to be competitive again. I think that has been sped up by 2 years, something like that. And what it does do this summer is put some pressure on them to sign players, I think, to short-term, short money deals that can provide a better support system for Connor Bedard. You can't just have him come in and throw him to the Wolves. You've got, nothing essentially on your roster. You look at where the Blackhawks are at for next year. Tyler Johnson, Jason Dickinson, and Colin Blackwell are your 3 highest paid forwards. I mean, you need to get a couple pieces to bring in there to help him next year to get his feet wet. But I think the exciting part about that too is that you're now open to a whole different, category of players. People are going to want to be in Chicago now. They know the city is a great one to live in. The fan base is obviously excited by the ticket sales. And you get to play with an unbelievable talent in Connor Bedard. It changes every part of the outlook. Instead of here, come take $1 million to get your D kicked in next season. Now you can actually play with a good player in a good market.
I don't know if you saw that, Rhett. Did you, over $5.2 million in season ticket sales in the 12
first
hours?
90 minutes was $2.5 million. That's so wild.
Yeah, it's been a. So yeah, I mean, we're going to suck. It's not going to matter because people have already bought their tickets. So it's a great.
They're going to suck less with this guy.
Yeah,
and
look, people are going to to Frank's point. It's a great city, and all of a sudden, free agents. Why not go to? the next 5 years are going to be very exciting, you would think.
Well, and there's a lot of guys with 1 year left. Like we talked about the Matthews situation in Toronto. DeBrincat's in a similar spot in Ottawa, where it's like he's coming up to a spot where, like, there's a lot of, the cap is flat. This is a great time to be the Hawks with Bedard there. It's not like there's massive bidding wars for guys if they come up UFA right now. Not a lot of teams have the space nor the sex appeal they'll have moving forward.
I want to throw a number at you. Not next season, but the season after, when the cap is probably going to be somewhere in the $90 million range. They have $16 million committed. Like they're going to have $70+ million in cap space to spend, which is crazy.
Really quick on that note, I know there's been a long conversation all year long, and maybe this is nerdy, maybe this is interesting. The notion that, well, the IOU isn't paid back from the players to the owners from the pandemic yet. It's almost done. And until it's done, we're not moving up the cap. This feels like a negotiation. I don't think there's much worse in Gary Bettman's world than a cap moving up $500,000 or $1 million and then jumping 10%. I mean, that's when we see crazy GM spend and like massive inflation. Would they not want to stagger that a bit? Or does this feel like with a new PA boss that some other thing's going to get, it's going to be horse trading if they try to do that? It just seems to be flat 1 year and then 10 million the next is wacko to me.
Yeah, that's not going to work. And I think everyone recognizes that. I think the trouble with that is because everyone recognizes it and because it is a negotiation and because players were essentially given $1.25 billion in loans, which they have now paid back or close to it. The league wants something in return. You know how this works. You just mentioned how Gary Bettman's a smart guy and knows who he is and what he is. He ain't afraid to stick his hand out and say, what are you going to do for us? We'll increase the cap, but what's it worth to you? So there is, I believe, an ask in return. I've published what I believe the ask to be. The players have a series of outstanding HRR claims going back, I think, 3 seasons, which I believe results in more than $100 million in claims. I think Gary Bettman wants them to walk from those claims in exchange for the cap going up by a certain threshold next season, which they can do without increasing the escrow cap. So it will be a negotiation, and this will be the first test for Marty Walsh, the new NHL PA executive director.
That was my nerd question.
I was going to say, it's got some escrow in there. That's always good.
Thank you.
Is there anything most eyebrow raising from round 2? Is it the 3-0 Florida lead? Is it Seattle up on Dallas? What have you taken
Vegas
on the first?
last night.
Yeah, Vegas again. And the Devils were down 0-2 to the Rangers, came back and won, down 0-2 to Carolina. They win game 3, game 4 coming up tonight. I guess just thoughts as we sit here heading into tonight. Yeah,
the easy answer is the Leafs being presented with an absolute unbelievable a free card to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, not to overstate it, but like someone just forever, we've been building up this idea, not me, but in the marketplace of got to win a round. You have to win a round. Just win a round. Because the thought process on the other end of that all season long was, yeah, but then you got to face the Boston Bruins in round 2. And they have the best regular season record in terms of points and wins in NHL history, 100+ years. Well, someone did you the ultimate favor of knocking them off in round 1 in game 7 when they had a lead in the final minute. And now you come out and you absolutely spit the bit in round 2. Your best players, your core 4, they're on a milk carton. And oh, by the way, your GM doesn't have a contract for next year, and Austin Matthews needs a new one. And is the cap going up? Can they afford to keep this core in place longer? Should they, given the fact that their best players in the biggest moments have folded like a cheap tent in a soft wind? I mean, you tell me. I can't think of a bigger storyline, and I think it's amazing that they have to wallow in it for an additional 48 hours, given the fact that they played Sunday and then not again until Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised to see them roll over.
Well, we talked about it the other day, and the more we got into it, the more layers there were. But Austin Matthews, a year away from free agency, he will have, the day he's eligible to sign an extension with the Leafs, a no-trade clause kick in. Like, have you seen a player at this age with more leverage in a situation? Oh, and by the way, the GM, his contract expires the day before that too.
A GM that he loves, by the way. Like Kyle Dubas and Austin Matthews are extremely close. Leverage, it's funny because he has it in terms of the marketplace. He has it knowing that he can get it on the free agent market. But in some ways, it's fascinating how he hits this moment in time, because he's been earning $11.6 million a year for what will have been 4 of the 5 years to this point on the contract. And yet, as you consider where he's heading on his next deal after a subpar, for him, for mere mortals, 40-goal season, and what has been, you could look at the points this postseason and say, oh, if you never watched the games, like, oh, that's pretty impressive. The game on Sunday was the first game all playoffs long that Austin Matthews didn't have a point. Mm-hmm. But if you look at these first 3 games of the series, and if you look at games 5, 6, and 7 of just about every series that he's played to this point, he's more or less been a nothing burger. So when you look at that and you consider moving forward, Nathan MacKinnon, he gets a big raise from 6.3 to 12.6. I made the argument on Toronto radio on Monday that there is not a chance in hell that you can make a case that Austin Matthews deserves 1 penny more than Nathan MacKinnon. But I thought about it, and I want to amend that statement. I don't see a world in which Austin Matthews deserves a penny more than David Pastrnak got. He's had the benefit of this big money 5-year deal that neither MacKinnon nor Pastrnak had to fill his bank account. And I think if you look at Pastrnak and MacKinnon, are their seasons any less impressive than what Austin Matthews has put together? Maybe last year and Matthews hitting 60 goals, but Pasternak's right there over the last number of years.
But neither of those guys got to market, Frank. I think that's a pretty big difference, isn't it? Negotiating with the team you want to stay with versus all 32 teams. That seems like a huge difference.
Who said Austin Matthews is going to get to market?
Well, I mean, if you're saying he doesn't deserve a penny more, it's like, sure, but the market might bear more than that, especially if you're telling me the cap's going up $8 million the year he's jumping in on a new deal.
The market will, but you gotta walk. You gotta have the cojones to walk. What will that do?
It just,
like, I mean, this is why I find it so fascinating. It's like, if he isn't super keen to stay in Toronto, and the way he negotiated that last deal, it's like, give me everything. I want all the money, and I want to get to free agency the first year possible. I'm not giving you term. You're not getting a deal on money either. Why is he and his agent going to be easy to deal with now? Well, I could have been better. I'll take less. This is a guy that's wanted max the whole way through. Why is that going to change?
And the thing with the no move clause, I mean, if he's willing to walk as a free agent at the end of the year, is he, depending on what the situation is he really going to,
he can go where he wants right now, or like this summer or next summer, right? Like, you either use that no trade,
I just mean in terms of leverage. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that the no move necessarily has Toronto like shit. Like, it limits them potentially, but if he's leaving,
it's less about Toronto. It's more about Austin. Like, he gets to pick his path here pretty quick.
I'm not worried about him.
Like, if he wants to be the highest paid player in the league, he could probably find someone to do it. Could he not get Arizona with their immense, 12.6? And like, am I overpaid? Sure. I was overpaid in my last deal. I'll continue to get overpaid. I'm going home. I don't have to worry about playing in this freaking fishbowl. And you know what? Something in the mix wasn't right. We'll reset here.
How's your time, Frank? You got more stuff coming? What do you got to go?
I don't have any better time spent than with you guys.
Nice. I wanted to ask you about Gerard Gallant. He was let go by the Rangers. 2 quick seasons. Last year, second in the Metro, 52 wins. They went to the 3rd round before losing to Tampa Bay. This year, they had that 2-0 lead, and then New Jersey came back. And still, it was 107 points, 47 wins. It's pretty good for a guy to lose his job.
It's the same as his last stop. It's really, really good, and they got him. And it's like, oh man,
even in Florida,
this is his track record. He does really well. they somehow just missed wildly high expectations, and he's gone too soon.
47 wins in Florida, first in the Atlantic, 22 games into the next year. They're 11-10-1. They fire him. He goes to Vegas, Cup Finals year-round. They lost it to San Jose with
Round
that
one,
freak thing in
crazy
round one.
Pavelski penalty.
And then he was gone halfway through the next season at 24-19-5, and then the Rangers for 2 years.
The dude's got one of the best pointing percentages of all time, and he gets run every 2-3 years.
Yeah, because you're getting his track record wrong. That's why.
Oh, tell us more.
So his track record is read between the lines. He's difficult to work with.
Okay.
He doesn't take suggestions. He's stubborn. He doesn't like anyone that's managing him, that's his boss, to tell him what to do, who to put in his lineup. There's no collaboration. He's a really nice guy. He's a good guy. He's a pain in the arse to work with. That's why you have success and you get pushed out. The players all like playing for him. He's an easy guy to play for. He can be critical. He can be biting in terms of his commentary, particularly post-game. You saw that in certain games in the first round where he just absolutely ripped their top six. But for the most part, he gets a lot out of his players because they like him. But it's obvious now, watching that track record of regular season success, that not a lot of people like employing him for those reasons. So there's a push and pull. Like, I'm not saying he's wrong or he's right, or everyone does their job a little bit differently. And he'd probably point to it and say, leave me the F alone. Look at my track record in the regular season. Look at my playoffs and the rounds that I've won in the last number of years. And I get it from his side too. I'm just telling you what it is.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask, because we remember how unceremoniously dumped with Florida he was. They left him out behind the rink to catch a cab.
Yeah, that was a bullshit story.
Right? Like the Vegas thing, obviously, after you go to the Cup final, I guess the vice was tight and everything there, but it's a lot of success to be dumped that quickly. And again, Columbus, 3 years, no playoffs, tough. Okay, it's a kind of a lot of coaches go to Columbus and don't succeed, but there was on ice success here. But yet the guy, it's 3 years or 3 teams in a short amount of time. So
I'll give you a potential landing spot for Gerard Gallant. He's a Detroit Red Wing, gets along real well with Steve Yzerman. I don't think anyone in the Red Wings organization, including Steve Yzerman, was real happy with the comments that their coach, Derek Lalonde, made on Sportsnet in round one. And
which one specifically? Sorry, Frank.
Where were you, in Mexico on a beach?
I absolutely was for a while there. I mean, I did remember him sort of poking through some Vasilevsky stuff, which I thought was, that's a little behind the curtain, but give me more.
That was it. Yeah. So he made those comments and they felt like he crossed the line, and I don't think Steve Yzerman was happy. So I wonder if, obviously you're not gunning your coach based on that, but maybe that shortens the leash a little bit. And if Steve Yzerman likes Gerard Gallant, then maybe he's a good associate coach.
So then back to New York, who do you see as a solution as head coach? And then secondly, if we rewind the clock a little, Jeff Gorton did a masterful job building this thing. Chris Drury sort of got airlifted in when it was in, the theoretical championship window. How do you view that whole, upper half of the organization right now?
I think Chris Drury faced some significant pressure their ownership is volatile. Jim Dolan does not mess around. There was pressure, I think, in November, if my time frame is correct, to make a coaching change then. Chris Drury resisted it, didn't want to do it a year and 2 months in. And they rebounded and obviously made the playoffs. But in terms of looking at where they head next, the one thing about the Rangers that's interesting is they've been very aggressive. They've given up a lot of draft capital in the last few years to take these runs, and they've got 2 rounds to show for it. Now, those 2 rounds are, more than the Calgary Flames have to show for it. But I'm just, tongue in cheek, that, now moving forward, how aggressive do you be the next time around? If you give up first, second, third, fourth, and then that's last year, and then this year, first and second, it's a lot. And they've now got some big question marks Patrick Kane, obviously he needs surgery. I don't. Can he return? Will he return? Does he want to sign in New York? Did he like it? What do they do on the coaching front? Vladimir Tarasenko, is he gone? And then, I think what it does when you make a coaching change like this is it puts pressure on you to get it right. So will you go with an inexperienced guy? They have someone at the NHL level that at least is inexperienced, Chris Knobloch, that I think has done a great job in Hartford. Do you go with a more experienced guy? Do you go with someone like a Peter Laviolette? So pick a coach off the scrap heap this time around and say, we're going to take our chances with this guy. I don't know what the right answer is. They've got a lot to figure out.
Here in Calgary, Don Maloney, the president of Hockey Ops, was talking with Flames TV, their online stuff yesterday or the day before, talking about amateur meetings coming up, amateur scouting meetings in a couple weeks. They hope to have a GM in place by then. A couple weeks being a little vague, but it's a couple weeks. So I don't know how many teams, if they want to talk to the Carolina GM, there's some teams that are still playing hockey. This due diligence and the search that they want to do, are you going to get to talk to everybody you want in the next 2 weeks, or what do we expect here?
Yeah, I think their process is beginning to ramp up. I think there's, as we've talked about, some easy internal interviews to consider. Craig Conroy, Brad Pascal, I think is going to get an interview as well. I've heard it and I've seen the report about Stan Bowman likely being in the mix, and he is subject to the same penalty as Joel Quenneville, that he will need a commissioner's approval before being able to return to the NHL. I don't anticipate any issue there. There's a lot to unpack with Stan Bowman, but he has done the work. He's been working hand in hand with Sheldon Kennedy and the Respect Group, getting a lot of their stuff off the ground in terms of junior hockey and the landscape there. You can dig in and find out more, and I will report it at some point. But Stan Bowman has put in a ton of work behind the scenes to be ready to get back in. And then we'll see how wide of a net they cast in terms of other people that they'd like to speak to. It's heating up. It's going to begin to heat up.
So I imagine the Sheldon Kennedy piece is a massive one, given that this feels like a PR disaster if that stuff isn't going on, and it may still be, even if that stuff that you're reporting is happening has happened. He was a pretty central figure in the sexual assault or abuse scandal, however you want to call it. No,
he was, and I think. Look, I've done my own reporting and due diligence. I've had conversations with the people that were involved, and I have a real good understanding and feel for what happened and what didn't. Some of that is their own story to tell, but I can give you the quick sort of Cole's Notes version in case anyone is curious and in case anyone is critical of what may play out next. I think when you read it and try and boil it down, the report from Jenner and Block that came out about the sexual abuse of Kyle Beach, it sounds gruesome and it sounds horrible, but that's not necessarily what people knew at the time then. And I can tell you with a great deal of confidence on my own end that that's not what Stan Bowman knew, and that's not what Joel Quenneville knew. The stuff about, Kyle Beach essentially being held at baseball bat and coerced into doing sexual acts with a video coach. That's not what those guys were told in the moment in 2010. They were essentially, to paraphrase, told that, quote, something weird happened between a video coach and a player. And in the same meeting, without any more details being transpired or told, they were also told by their president and CEO, John McDonough, I'll handle this. I got it. They were in game 5 or 6 of the Western Conference Final. It's 2010, trying to advance to their first Stanley Cup final in however long. And when your boss tells you he's got it and you think something weird happened, but you don't know what it was, I'm not absolving Stan Bowman or Joel Quenneville by any stretch of the imagination. They have an obligation to ask more questions and follow up. I also think the attitude and time was a little bit different then. But when you're told those things, the first time that they actually read and heard how gruesome it was when the report came out. So I think it's real dangerous to want to cast dispersions. I'm not saying that they should get off scot-free. I also think that we need to have a larger conversation as a society about what the proper penalty is. That, you know, I don't believe these people should be handed death sentences, that they should have the ability to not work again. They weren't the ones doing the abusing. They weren't the ones, I believe, propping up an abuser. They were told a very certain thing, and that's what played out. So I'll leave it at that. That's my understanding of the situation if it were to come up again with Stan Bowman.
Did they feed you guys at the draft lottery? Like what kind of...
It's funny you said that because I can't do his accent real well, the New Yorker, where Gary was like, come over here, get a chicken finger. It's like, all right. I think I'll wait till you leave. It's all good.
Seravalli, come get a chicken finger.
Yes, hey, Seravalli, get over here. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Frank. Good to see you made it to Secaucus and back. All well and good.
Yeah, all in one piece. See you guys.
There you go. Thanks, buddy. Frank Seravalli, our NHL insider, a presentation of Bonton Meat Market since 1921. I mean, they're now at 28 Crowfoot Circle. Haven't always been there, but the one thing that's always been there has been, you know, treating everybody like family, settling for nothing less than the best. If it's in the showcase, if it's on the floor, if it's up for sale, it is the very best. AAA Alberta beef, free-range poultry, grain-fed Alberta lamb, milk-fed veal, fresh Alberta pork. Calgary Consumer Choice Award winner again for Best Deli Meat Market. Online, bontonmeatmarket.com. But as we say, we encourage you to go and see it. It's like a time machine. It's like stepping back in time to the good old days,
buddy.
Yeah, you betcha. Hi, Rhett.
Hello.
Lots there. Wow, that was dense, and honestly, some very important context from Frank there too, on lots of stuff.
I've been asked a couple times about Stan Bowman, and I mean, there's two layers to it. There's the hockey side, and then there's, you know, the off ice side. And for me, the hockey portion, I know he was along with Dale Talon and that whole group when is it Dale Talon's team that won 3 cups, or is it Stan Bowman's team that won 3
both,
cups?
but yeah, like all the superstars were acquired under Talon, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like, and that's not to suggest that's, you know, like, wow, nothing was done since then. I mean, there's lots of GMs that have acquired superstars and haven't won shit. Like, you do have to round out that roster. But then, like, as we talk about a bunch, it was like the huge Seabrook contract. And like, after they won that 3rd cup, there's been almost no winning. And it was clear to everyone it was time to move along. I think longer before Stan Bowman wanted to acknowledge it. And there was a lot of mem moves. Like, you look at that Seth Jones trade. That's just fucking awful. Like, why? Do you understand where you are in the life cycle? You give up 2 firsts for that?
When you think, because you think of that whole, and I might be off on Corey Crawford, but I think Crawford's in that mix too, that we're all under the Talon watch. The Kane, Taves, Seabrook, Keith, Crawford,
those are your stars.
Sharp,
Yeah.
Hossa, those were all Talon moves.
Well, Hossa might have been later, but yeah, I mean, either way, it's, you can't just say it's one guy's cup team. The one guy also forgot how to put offer sheets together and all that, like, or the qualifying. Remember that? Whoops.
Yeah.
So I forgot to qualify these players.
I'm going to ask you again. I'm a question guy now, apparently. I was asking lots of questions yesterday. So just as a funsies, if you had changed spots with Dale Talon, would you have had as much success as him or Stan Bowman, or let's say even Kyle Dubas in Toronto? The point I'm trying to get to is I'm not taking away any work ethic or understanding of the game or having a direction you want to go in, but it's not brilliance to draft in the top 3 and have a superstar. Is it?
I agree.
And a lot of
taking Taves
out,
at 2 or whatever.
Yeah, taking Taves and Kane, sure, but that was your success. right? Like my
Those are your
point being,
pillars.
we do revere these guys as amazing. It's brilliant. I would argue there are probably guys doing GMing fantasy teams that would have do just as good. Do you get my point about it? It's
100%. Yeah.
we can
When you're
revere
gifted
them all we
generational
want, but
superstars. Yeah.
yeah, but this is not, and it happens all the time. And if you fail, if the Buffalo Sabres had gotten the McDavid sweepstakes win in the draft, Tim Murray would have a job in the NHL. Oh my God, he's brilliant. Look at how they're doing. Right? So
the
sometimes
challenges that come with the superstars isn't is my team going to be good? It's can we get them over the hump, get them a championship, and how do I now manage the cap when I'm paying these stars? And that's kind of what we've watched Edmonton try to figure out, right? And they've only been to round 3 once, so they've had some poor GMing. There's been some good GMing. There's been a lot of in the middle.
But
there's a lot of teams that have got 2 superstars, but
Yeah, but I'm not just making as I'm talking in general as a general manager.
Mm-hmm.
Do we revere them too much?
I think what you want to do is have a checklist and say, okay, how is this guy managing the cap? How is this guy in draft and develop? Because clearly, to your point, if you're gifted 4 superstars, that's not GM wisdom, right?
And even there, if I'm guessing if you're a GM and you talk about the draft, you will are you not almost somewhat deferring to your scouting staff and your head of pro,
which you theoretically have built, right?
Who you hire. And that's what I'm getting at. Name me 5 really unique GMs that are going about it so differently that's personal brilliance there. That's not the 3 of us, and I'm not even joking. We could literally run a NHL franchise. If we put in 14-hour days or 16-hour days or 20-hour days, you're going to learn it. You're going to learn who's good. You're going to have reporting. We would struggle with the numbers, Dean. I'm sorry on that side. We're going to have to find somebody to bring in to assist us with that.
Yeah, you hire
but they
scouting
all have
staff,
those
hire
guys,
analytics,
right?
Yep.
And they all have those guys too. I'm not making light of anything guys do and this and that. But the point I'm trying to get across is sometimes I think that we put too much stock or compliment in what happens out there. I don't think that.
Yeah.
Right. Like the one guy that jumps. Sorry, let me finish. Just the one guy that jumps out to me is in Carolina.
Tulski.
They seem to go about it in a unique fashion.
Yeah, which is almost owner directed since he took over. There's sort of been this think about the world differently. And, Tulski's always been an incredibly sharp data guy. Like, don't pay for goalies. They're incredibly volatile. They don't give them term, buy off low years, and sell on high years. Like, there's just philosophies that those are all data driven, but he's not a front facing GM. If you've heard any interviews with him, he's not good at that.
But
he's
is he the
perfect
GM?
AGM? No, he's the AGM.
He's not the GM, right? So it's Don Waddell. So is Don Waddell the guy, or is Tulski, or is it the owner who says, no, we're not spending on the goalie, and we're not spending on Dougie Hamilton, and we're not. No, that's so.
Yeah, no, and so what we're asking is, like, how do we assign credit to one person rather than an organization? I always think it's the same thing with AGMs. Like, how in the world do you know who a good AGM or a bad AGM is when it's the GM that's going to make the final decision anyway? I could be at the table making great suggestions every day or shitty ones every day, and no one's going to know because the GM's got final say. And that's why it's like we like this concept of, our AGM's this guy in grooming that's going to be amazing. The only people that really know if he's good or not are in the room with him. And those people aren't telling you what's up necessarily, right? And that's not talking about Connie. It's every fucking team. Like, everywhere. It's really hard to parse through. But when you see teams continually have wins in areas that are difficult, like the draft, like in picking up guys that are like Nichushkin who've done nothing and bloom into stars, like that's where I think, like, okay, this organization is doing something a little bit differently. That's where I would try to hunt for jewels.
But it's just so hard to pinpoint that because it's hard to be consistent with that. You bring up Nichushkin. Great. Yeah. Well, but there's teams that swing and miss all the time too, right? And you think that it's going to work. I would argue that the best asset a GM or the biggest move a GM can make because I think all that other stuff can be compartmentalized, and you can have good scouts and numbers guys, and really, if you're drafting in the top 3, are you screwing this up, or even a top 5? Yes, maybe further down the draft there might be a 4, 5, 6 round pick that turns out. But again, I think those are half flukes. I don't think it's a strategy. What I would think is almost the most telling or the toughest thing a GM has to do is decide who's the right fit to coach this group of kids that I've put together. Because that can, right? That is more indicative of a direct, are we going to have success or not? Because if you put the wrong coach in place, your team will crater no matter what you've done a lot of times. If you put the right guy in place, your team will rise up, and all of a sudden you've got growth, and you've got guys buying into it, and success follows.
There are some GMs and I think it's to your point, when they make a move and just kind of the average, just the not huge hockey fan, but just I've got a favorite team. I watch a lot of hockey. When the hockey world be like, ooh, that does not seem like a good deal. And then it's a bad deal. It's like, how does this guy get? And it's not always that way. I don't know. I think that it's like any boss. Your success is often directly linked to how good your employees are and how well your business runs.
Yeah, and how can you empower those people that you've got underneath you, right? Like that felt like a big issue here. This GM wasn't going to be able to succeed if he couldn't be on the same page as the coach. Not coming back.
So what you're saying, Rhett, co-GMs, Calgary Flames.
Well, I honestly, you can have different plans. I just don't know that what differentiates a lot of these guys, like from Stan Bowman, taking aside the political side of things, from Stan Bowman to Craig Conroy, to Brad Pascal, to Don Maloney, to whoever else is the guy that you mentioned earlier as a GM, right? Like, is there really that much difference in what, like when they go in for an interview with Don Maloney, are they really presenting a different, really unique strategy that's kind of like, whoa, that is really left field. I'd never thought about it that way. Or is it fairly, I'm going to focus on this, but I like that. Right? Like, I feel like a lot of it is similar. And I guess,
there'd be some mild stylistic things, but I agree. I think you're not necessarily reinventing the wheel. I think there's very few candidates that are that, and I don't know that those guys are necessarily guys leaving.
Supported or good. Yeah. So get the cheapest guy you can, and then we'll freak out and say you went for the cheapest guy.
You're killing Connie here. He's negotiating right now, and you're killing him on the dollars.
Your kid sent me a video. I don't know if you knew this.
Coming from Buffalo.
Yeah, no, this was it must have been the Pittsburgh trip. Outdoor Dental with Dr. J. Patel. Outdoor.dental is the website. We've been talking about it. People have been asking, so the snoring thing, is this for it? It is for real. Yes, it's the Soleil laser treatment. They use it for their dental work, but it also works for snoring treatments, increasing the tension in the soft palate at the back of your jib to reduce snoring, non-surgical, pain-free, a little topical pain, a little kind of numbing agent, and then 2 15-minute treatments. They get in there, and before you know it, that soft palate tightens up, and you're getting better sleep. The people around you are getting better sleep, but mostly for yourself. You're getting better sleep, and you're feeling better. You're more active. You have more energy to do things. And I don't know if this was sent to me by, I think it was by the oldest son.
Yeah,
you were in Pittsburgh. You went to ball games. Here you are. I don't know. It's some kind of a pub or something.
Wait,
and
that's on my red shirt.
It's the middle of the day. Sun's out.
Oh, dear, Rhett. You have the phone right up there?
Yeah, you got your phone.
Is it a wallet? A pack of darts? What do we got there, Rhett? Jesus.
That's the TV remote.
Is that what it is? Yeah, in the hotel room must have been. Your kid's shaky camera work. Talk to him about it, would you?
Well, he was scared.
Oh, Rhett. It's like starting a lawnmower.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure outdoor dental can fix all of that.
It's a lot there to fix.
But we'll start with outdoor dental, right?
We'll start with the snoring. Jesus.
Well, yeah, you sleep, you feel better. You don't snore, you get better sleep.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it all starts. That's where you got to begin.
Probably less pain in your neck, too. I think that's got to hurt at some point.
Oh,
There you
man.
go. Outdoor dental. They are leading the way. Dentistry with no needles, no drills, no stress. The Soleil laser is state of the art. They do the 3D printing for your crowns, anything that's going on in terms of the world of dental. It's outdoor dental. 1 to 2 minutes. You get in there. They're going to be able to take a look at your situation in your jib and point you in the right pain-free direction. Dental implant treatment. They use cutting-edge dental technology to ensure you're happy, healthy, and feel confident in your results. Outdoor.dental.com. Dr. J. Patel.
Dr. J.
Good guy. We'll do the Pinder report here in a moment, but we talked about Kevin Weeks and the snafu, I guess. So it
just feeds everything Frank's talking about, right? Because it's like, whose phone didn't fill up last night with, it's rigged, this is a conspiracy. Like, that was all night.
It was either they don't deserve it, or Chicago's won too much, or it's I don't know. It's I think Frank went on about it, but for poor Weeksy, here he is trying to, and I said it yesterday, doing these things, hosting these shows. It's one of the worst jobs in the world because it's painfully boring. And how do you make it interesting? And you're talking to hockey people that don't really want to be there. They don't want to be on Zoom.
Sure don't.
But this is what it was. So the first clip is Kevin Weeks throwing to break, and then it's Bill Daly coming back from break. And even on the first part of this clip, you'll notice there's the draft board. They show here's where it is, and here's who's left.
Here's what we're doing. Here's where we're going.
Quick break, but when we come back, this is what we're going to be seeing. So there's 3 teams left on the board. You'll notice in the top left, but Weeksy kind of jumps the gun a little bit here. Come on, Weeksy.
And there is our first change in the order, with Columbus dropping to 3rd. So now either Anaheim or Chicago will select first overall. Anaheim has never selected first overall, and the last time Chicago drafted number 1 was when they took future Hall of Famer Patrick Kane. We'll be back.
Good luck to each of Anaheim, Columbus, and Chicago.
Oh, dear.
Number 3. The number 3 overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft belongs to the Columbus Blue Jackets.
How could we have seen that coming? How could you have known?
So the problem is that they're doing so much to make this look shiny and interesting when it's not. It's just bald Bill Daly flipping cards. That 90 minutes before all this happened, and that's what, to Frank's point, you televise, because now someone puts the wrong part of the script on Kevin Weeks' sheet, and it only increases the conspiracy theory, right?
How did he know that Columbus was going to pick 3rd?
Poor Weeksy.
I sure got paid politely to host that shit.
Oh, Weeksy, I think he's a good guy. I've never heard a bad word about Kevin Weeks.
It's all over your TV. He's telling you to gamble. He's telling you this isn't rigged. He's doing all kinds of things. He's telling you Columbus is dropping.
I'm a fan.
He's catching fish in Seattle.
He's telling you there's
a
team coming to Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, did he blow one there too? Did he have?
I think there's this arena project up
Sure what it was.
We'll see.
All right. Time for the Pinder report, a presentation of Village Honda. They, of course, located in the Northwest Auto Mall. They're online at villagehonda.com. They're your dealership for life. They're still looking for those used vehicles. If you've got a quality used vehicle, they're going to want to talk to you. $1 Million Buy-In event continues. Even if you don't buy theirs, they might buy yours. And a tropical cruise for 2 exclusively at Village Honda, who present the Pinder report.
All right, boys, we start where we just sort of finished there with the draft lottery. The Calgary Flames were 1 lottery ball away, Dean, from not getting Connor Bedard. But, the second draw, if it was a 13 instead of a 6, Calgary would have drafted 6th overall, which Again, sounds close, but really isn't. There's lots of numbered balls in there. So, yeah.
There were a lot of teams that were one ball away.
Yes. Yeah. Ever a ball away from a hole in one? Maybe, what do they say? Hand grenades and horseshoes? Close really doesn't count for shit. Like if you're one off from winning the 50-50, like, no, you're not. They might have drawn a totally different number. I
understood that too, because I feel like in horseshoes you need to like.
No, because you can have a ringer or you can be within a length.
Is that how it is?
Yeah, that's right.
Because I feel like a hand grenade, you don't need to be all that close.
Ringer?
Like
leaner? Hand grenades, yeah, it's bigger.
Right? I feel like you've got a little bit more room for.
That's fair. Depending how big the hand grenade is. I don't know a lot about hand grenades. Right? You ever thrown a hand grenade?
I'm trying to recall. No, I don't think I have.
Yeah. Okay.
You dropped a bomb in that taxi in Kelowna that one time.
Oh dear. The odd bomb. Yeah.
Yeah. Disgusting.
As you noted, the Calgary Flames floated a loose timeline, intentionally or not, for the hiring of a new general manager. As part of the draft day festivities, Brendan Parker of Flames TV chatted with Don Maloney about amateur scouting meetings, la. Yes, you would want to have your GM in place for amateur scouting meetings. That makes sense. And they're a few weeks away. And yeah, so that gives us a tighter timeline. I don't know. We've heard a few names leaked, but safe to say this thing is well underway, and that doesn't leave a ton of time before we should expect to hear the next general manager of the Calgary Flames. Rhett, have they got back to you?
Which, like I said earlier, is irrelevant because they all do the same damn thing. So, I mean,
that's right.
Throw a dart at a board and let's go.
That's right.
Drop a bomb and just move on.
The dart land on Rhett. Let's go. Come on. Let's go to the lottery. Let's see how how's the internet reacting to last night's extremely well-oiled machine and non-cons material as of top 20 trending topics in the U.S. right now. Top 4 Blackhawks rigged Bettman Beach. Oh, this is a tough look for the league. Their best possible outcome occurred, which reminded us of one of their worst disciplinary sessions, finding $2 million, the Chicago Blackhawks, not, multiple picks for, something like, whoops, we made you put on gym shorts and ride a bike. One seems more egregious than the other. Frank was talking about Bettman's legacy. I feel like a lot of that was on Twitter last night. That it is crazy when you look back at the punishment that the organization, the punishment that they were given, like $2 million to an organization probably valued at over $2 billion. Like, is that even a parking ticket? I understand that a lot of people lost their jobs, but like, Jesus, it feeds the conspiracy again. Like, Gary, get out of your own way.
More to what Frank was saying too. Like, some people didn't know. Anyway, I'm not kidding.
For the Chicago Blackhawks, and again, like, some kids came in and rode a bike in Arizona. They lost a first rounder. How many picks did the Blackhawks lose for covering up a sexual abuse scandal? Seems weird. Okay, we'll move along. Speaking of Blackhawks, they're back in the money. They sold some tickets last night. And why wouldn't you? Connor Bedard's coming to town in the hours after, more than their $2 million fine they paid for the Kyle Beach scandal. They've recouped that in season tickets with just Connor Bedard news alone. That feels not right and very wrong. And then, we had the Kevin Weeks gaffe that you just played. Aaron Portzline, who we saw, was there. Dave Hodge had this to say: as if the NHL ping pong lottery wasn't complicated enough, the TV gaffe that took Columbus out of the number 1 running before Bill Daly announced it almost stole Chicago Bedard's thunder. Embarrassing. Dave Hodge is good from the top rope, isn't he?
Why did they pre, they got to get the cards right and the bingo balls and all that stuff. But then they go live? Why don't they pre-record that as like this is stupid.
Yeah,
I didn't watch
not a lot of it makes sense.
I never. It's.
You know what this is really is?
My boy Weeksy.
This is boring and dense. That's what this is. You know what we need? Something fun, light, and fluffy. Oh, by the way, the league's refusing to comment. That's going to help this go away too. Do you remember? I wasn't sure if it happened on the show or not, but I'm pretty sure it didn't because I don't remember doing it on the show. I remember sending it to friends. there was someone, AI is getting very smart. It's almost got Rhett the GM job already. It's making music. It's creating more AIs of itself. It's going to overrule us very soon, I'm sure, Rhett. Be very worried. Also, though, it can create some images and create, like anything you ask it to.
I saw a good one of Jeff Bezos as Vin Diesel on.
Yeah, so and anything like that. Yeah, there was a series of Canadian hockey players as country music stars. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. Canadian politicians as rockers, whatever. Like, you can ask AI to create all kinds of crazy shit. Somebody, I think it was a week and a half ago, asked AI to create mascots for NFL teams. So I don't know if this ever got on the show. I think it was the day I left. So Rhett, just as a little sampling, here was what AI did for the NFL. That was the Bills fucking mascot. This is like, they're like so bad, they're good. It's amazing.
It's like that dancing Calgary Wrangler
So
guy.
Rhett's a Bills fan. That's our first one. I'm a Chargers guy. We got a.
I can't wait to get that tattoo. Oh,
so this looks like some sort of I don't know. Is that a Japanese cartoon action hero? The Chargers. Okay, sure. There was also, we got Wolverine here's a big Packers guy, right? So. So these are all just,
that won't scare the kids.
No, that's worse than the Oilers links. And then I think we got Jacko's a big Steelers fan as well. So let's see what the Steelers got. Like, what the hell is going on?
That is terrible.
I was going to put Dean's favorite team up, but he doesn't have an NFL team because he's the only person on earth that doesn't cheer for an NFL team. I don't. Yeah. Have you figured out why that is?
One. I kind of like that one.
There's the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland.
Cleveland rocks.
Yeah.
They got to be tough. The Cowboys was especially good. The Dolphins were good. What else have we got in the NFL file? Let's dump them here. Yeah, the Cowboys one's perfect. It's just delusional America's team. It's Jera's team right there. Anyway, so it was good fun. I'd forgotten all about it. It was about 10 days ago. I've killed a lot of brain cells since then. Never mind all the other shit I've gone through.
I do love that this is what we're using AI for.
I mean, it can do anything. If you want to start taking over the world, you could do that. But I'm more interested in what the mascots could look like.
Yeah, like figuring out real world problems, things that could really affect our daily life in a positive way. Or we could have a guy in a fat shirt from Cleveland wearing a Browns jersey. Yeah, it's good.
Talented stuff. So this thread was like 10 days ago. Yesterday, the NHL mascots dropped.
Oh, is that right?
So let's have some fun. Jack's made us a video. We're going to roll through the NHL team mascots presented by AI. Okay, that's clearly the Ducks. No big deal there. Oh, get some tunes too. Very good.
Nice.
That actually probably might be the most accurate looking. Why is the flame a duck? And look at the sea.
Yeah.
This Vegas guy fucks.
Look at the horn of that guy.
The king, I don't know. Here is that a magic wand or a stick?
Oh, look at this.
Kraken?
Kraken for sure. It does feel like Seattle there. They don't have the lettering thing figured out. They just know there's letters in certain spots. I think that should say Canucks. The Oilers one is special. Like that. I mean, he's special in many ways. Sharks there. Okay. Interesting. So this Pacific Division. Now we're into the Central. There's Colorado. I like a bear for the Avs. That makes sense. Mountains, right?
All right.
The Blues. Does that look like a baseball head there? I don't know about that. Oh, the Hawks don't have beaks like that, I don't think.
Looks like he's going to take a shit.
The Jets did not like this. They tweeted this. They said no. That is
Smash
Predator.
It's a Predator, all right.
Yeah, okay. I like the idea of him having a little make it talk.
How does the world come up with this stuff?
It's AI. We don't know. It's learning at 100 million times faster than we do, and it's getting better every day. We asked them to do this in a week. They'll all be better. Crazy. So there's the Bruins bear. That's an easy one. It feels like Leafs, lol.
Oh, dear.
Lightning, whatever. Don't care for that one. Let's see what else we got. That definitely feels like Montreal. Look at the background there. Seems to know. Panthers.
It's a panther.
Yeah, not that interesting. 3. That doesn't fit for the wheeled wing for me. Does it for you?
Gonna get mugged.
Oh, Buffalo Red. Look at that. You'd go drink beer with that guy. The Hofbrew House.
Don't trust his pupils.
Senators. What is that?
What do you do with
There's
all
a lot
and
of
the anals.
5 night.
Look at the letters. It's the anals.
Do you guys know the kids? They watch this 5 Nights at Freddy's.
No.
No.
Should I be worried?
Yes, your kids aren't into it.
That's the
All right.
opposite of the Flyers.
Well, sorry.
It's not good. That's horrifying. That looks like an axe murderer.
That's racist.
That's
I
Five
don't
Nights
know
at
what's
Freddy's.
happening
All
here.
these stuffed animals are killing
And there's
people.
there's
That's-
Johnny post Calgary. Look at that. Oof.
What is
Snowman penguin.
What is Five Nights at Freddy's, Trent? Tell us more.
It's like a comic. I don't know if it's a. I think it's a video game, even video game or a YouTube
so-
show, and it's these stuffed
So
animals
we
and
don't
they're
know about it.
killing people.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, so there was some mascot fun for you. That lightened the mood after all that conspiracy draft lottery percentages, right?
Yeah, I wasn't so much the draft lottery percentages as much as something else. But
What was it? Oh yeah, the other stuff there. Fair. Let's get to last night, shall we? Boy, Mark Spector had it
5-1?
written interestingly. The problem
5-1, just like you called it, Rat.
The problem, he said, for the
Told you.
Vegas Golden Knights is that they are heading to Edmonton with the Oilers leading the series 1-1. And it did feel like that. The way that they, vacationed before game 1 and didn't show up and still had a 4-goal performance and throttled them in game 2. This was supposed to be a big Oilers win. They wore the wrong jerseys or they got the outcome wrong. This was a big Vegas win last night in Edmonton, fellas. How much did we see and what do we make of it?
Well, wasn't that trend, the Dallas Stars
We told you.
trend?
We fucking told you. Stars lost game 3. Edmonton lost game 3. Every single game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3.
And Red
Exact
said
same result.
yesterday, 5-1 final, going to be a blowout.
Yep.
And you were right.
Nailed it, Rhett. Just the wrong team.
Wrong side.
Pretty.
I don't think so. I hate the Oilers. There's no way I'd cheer for the
Yeah,
Oilers.
you'd never cheer for the Oilers.
That is
right?
true. And you wouldn't find a way to get both sides of the bet. Here was my summary for last night's game that I threw on Twitter. It was a representation of the AI mascots we'd seen earlier in the day. Just beautiful stuff. Not close.
Skinner out, Campbell in, Brossoit injured, Aiden Hill in.
Look good, Aiden Hill. Confident Aiden
They're
Hill.
going to need him to be confident because that does not look like something that Brossoit is going to bounce back from anytime soon.
And so, Rhett, I don't know how much of this you saw, but when Vegas was getting throttled in game 2, they made life very difficult at the end of the game. They tried to, set up game 3. They were being pricks. It was like, how do the refs manage this moving forward? Last night in Edmonton, the Oilers just said, yeah, we're not going to try tonight, and we'll be back for game 4. Do you care? Because, the Oilers are good enough to come and score 8 in 2 nights. I get it. But they really didn't use last night's dead time to try to settle any scores or, they just sort of threw their hands up and said, we don't have it tonight.
First of all, if you're actually asking if I do care, I don't. And I'm not surprised by it anyway. It's stunning to me that 2 of the highest skilled teams in the league can show up and absolutely fartburger themselves through a playoff hockey game. Right? Like the Leafs and the Oilers just, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even criticize the Stars as much because I don't consider them in the same echelon as talent. I think they've got really good teams. They got a good goaltender and stuff. But for 2 teams that are so highly skilled to show up with just no push, no desire, no drive at all. Happy to see it in Edmonton. Happy to see it in Florida. But still stunned that it can play out that way.
So they're up 2-1.
The Oilers are up 2-1.
The Vegases
Right.
are up 2-1 on the Edmontons.
Yeah.
And it sets
I'm-
up a huge game 4, I guess, to stating the obvious here.
Yeah,
just trying
I
to
just
figure out
think
the big
that-
picture, right?
This whole playoff, we've seen if you want to get definitive on a 1-game performance, you can't do it. Because
No.
New Jersey was cooked after 2 games.
Twice.
Right? The Florida Panthers were down 3-1 to the Boston Bruins. All of everything. There's a lot of things that have been done, and we can. And I put myself in this category. I know how I feel about this series now after watching a certain
And it was a
game.
dominant
then
period.
Then
Yeah.
it'll spin into the next game. So
There's been a lot of blowouts, too, for the series. There have been wild entertainment and lots of great outcomes and overtimes. There's been a lot of lopsided, high-scoring blowouts.
for the Oilers, if I'm Jay Woodcroft, I'm just trying to keep the drama level as low as possible. Don't get suspended.
Mhm.
It's not a league where we have to beat people's heads in anymore. Run your bench in the third. Rest some of the top guys. We're not good tonight. It happens.
Yep.
Get ready for the next one. I'm kind of more in that camp, I think.
Tonight's slate. Let's look at it as
Tell
we've
me what
got
to do.
a pair of gates.
Pearly gates.
Sooner than later. Okay.
Christ,
Carolina
anytime.
Devils. There we
Hurry
are.
up.
5:00. Okay. We could have a series here. That'd be nice, eh? It's not going to be one if Carolina wins. If New Jersey wins, man, that'll be twice back-to-back rounds. They could theoretically come back from a 2-0 hole to be all squaresies.
And thumped the Canes in game 3.
Got thumped in games 1 and 2. There has yet to be a close game in this series.
Kochetkov, Freddie Anderson.
Anderson got the hook. It was Ranta in round 1. They've used 3 goalies. Wow.
Amazing.
Dallas, Seattle, that's your nightcap at 7:30. The Kraken looked phenomenal. They aerated Dallas in game 3. That was on the heels of a game where Dallas looked to have righted the ship pretty seriously in game 2. Hey, don't worry, we got this. That was just game 1. Well, now they got to do a, hey, don't worry, we got this. That was only game 3. Interesting. Seattle's got some...
Heiskanen?
I haven't seen it yet. I would expect we'll have news.
Game time is not in concussion protocol. So to your point from yesterday,
Probably
Rhett, they'll bubble him up, and I'm sure he'll be out there.
Where she goes. Bad news for the Colorado Avalanche. Nichushkin mysteriously left. They had injuries all year, and now this. Gabe Landeskog, cartilage transplant in his right knee. Surgery will be performed in Chicago. 30-year-old forward will miss the entire 2023-24 season. That's after missing the entire 2022-23 season. So it'll be 2 full seasons coming off a Stanley Cup championship for Landeskog, where he will not play a single game. This is not good news for the Avs captain. They missed him and others all throughout this year. It's been a rough year for the Avs for injuries. This was supposed to be right by Christmas. Nope. Maybe by the playoffs. Nope. Not even next year.
Mark Mathot tweeted this morning that he had the same surgery, and wasn't trying to say that this is it, but he was not that rehab was so difficult he was never able to get back to an NHL level of skating, and it was done. So he wishes Landeskog the best, but it does not.
Not great.
This is an attempt to save your life post career. This to me is not a surgery that you're doing to go out and try and play.
$7 million is the cap hit. That'll be $7 million. That they know today they'll be able to use for next year because he's not coming back. So
that's true. He'll be full LTIR the full season, so you could spend that money. But again, it's like somebody to come in for a 1-year deal. And then
sorry, Gabe. Hey, if that's it, last game of his career, lifted the cup over his head. Worst ways to go.
Oh, shit, he's got fuck.
He's done.
5 years left on that deal.
I would think
after next year.
I would think if you're going to that, because the cartilage replacement it's pretty new wave and cutting edge stuff, and I heard, I looked into it for my shoulder. It's months of nothing. Do not do anything.
Don't move.
No, maybe it's different knees and shoulders.
I'll put it in my cock.
So he has got $7 million a year. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
I think he wants to be done. If you're doing that, and I don't mean wants, I mean he's smart enough to look at it and go, if I'm going to have a life post hockey, this is the type of surgery I have to have, and there's a huge probability that I won't play again.
Yeah.
6 years left on his deal. He's going to miss all of next year. 5 after that. It's 7 a year. And he's just...
because he just signed that thing. Now, could it be also that this is drastic measures, but this is, if I'm coming back, I need to try and do everything I can.
I think so. It's
to get
until
it right.
It's over. It's not over.
I don't know.
Doesn't sound optimistic.
I'm not. I know nothing about it, but it seems like a pretty big deal. But
don't have a lot of baseball news yesterday, but I did have this image, which I thought you'd enjoy, fellas. It was not a great night for somebody at a baseball game.
Was this you? Yeah.
Oh dear, Kansas City. They were winning, at least. You ever puked on a baseball field, Red? That's a nice stream.
Gotta hydrate. Get that guy an IV, Fred.
You know
Why
what?
don't you go to the dugout, son?
I give him credit. I criticize baseball players for being soft. That's not soft. If you're out there and you're in that bad a shape, that's
Good on you.
that is something. That guy is playing
Oof.
guilty.
Well, there was a guy in the
Just hung
NBA
for the
last
nuts.
night. He had a burp puke. He had a
Bleh.
mouthful of
Bleh.
vomit, and he was on the.
So you're telling me you saw a burp puke video and we are this far into the show and you don't have it up yet?
Yeah.
Fuck.
He doesn't like
The video wasn't.
makes him
It
gag.
wasn't great.
Okay.
No, I had the video for this one, but yeah, it was. It was kind of. If you didn't know it was happening, you may not know. It was not that obvious.
Okay.
This one, very obvious.
I got lots of submissions for our Cavalry contest for the upcoming game Saturday at 5. Quick reminder to check your social streams. Here's the post on Twitter if you need a reminder. Get your chance to get out to.
What is it for people that aren't
good
watching?
weather. It's a pair with Pinder giveaway alert. Cavalry FC, second home game of the year, 5 p.m. kickoff at Echo Field.
And what is the giveaway?
It's you and a buddy get to come to a Cavalry game with me and Anthony from Village Honda, presenting the Pinder Report.
There you go.
Yeah.
So go on socials and enter. Get after it.
2 things to close out. Now, I didn't know this was a big thing, but in the University of Southern Carolina, there's a mascot named Cocky. Cocky
Gamecock.
graduated yesterday, and she told the world, finally unveiling her identity. I thought this was kind of neat. You have a son that's graduating this year? Is that right?
I do, yeah.
So you're going to be doing all kinds of convocation stuff like that. Let's see as she lets the world know.
Let's go. Think she keeps those on?
This is terrible.
That's what they're doing for your kid? Same deal?
Maybe it was a had to be there, Rob. Because they're loving it.
I love it. Look at those shoes. 2 years is Cocky. Now she's got to find a real job. It's tough to be this popular somewhere else. Anyway, I thought it was kind of cute thinking about your guys' big feet, right? Okay.
Let's go.
And
that
finally,
was really good time well spent.
we will head to.
How long was that? Was that 20 seconds? Because we could have put that
It
with
was
the
22
draft.
long,
It was
that's
your
for
20
sure.
seconds.
That's right.
What's worse, watching balls bounce around or this?
To Australia we go, and weird things happen on the playing
Aussie
field, the
Brad?
pitch. Well, Aussies are a little off too. We know that. Let's go live here to the Aussie broadcast.
Well, up north, that grass, I think he might be just trying to package a little something up for post-game activities, perhaps. Who knows what's going on? What it is? No. I know what it is.
What are you eating the grass for?
Wow, when a dog doesn't feel
cow?
good, they eat grass. It helps them puke. There you go.
True. Red-nosed dogs.
Ties it all
Dog
together
dogs.
with the puke.
Big dog.
That's your Pinder report on whatever date today is. There you go.
Village Honda, proud
That's it.
sponsors of the Pinder Report.
Aren't they?
Located in the Northwest Auto Mall. They're your dealership for life, villagehonda.com. And of course, as we mentioned, that $1 million buy-in event continues. Sellers receive a tropical cruise for 2 exclusively at Village Honda, villagehonda.com. There you have it. There she goes. There she is. Did you see Evander Kane at the end of the first period, I believe, last night?
Took
Went
a bad
after
penalty there.
Alex Petrangelo. I don't know
Fuck
what he
around
was.
and find out guy is what Kane was.
Yeah, the F around and find out guy.
0-1 since that. Yeah.
It's the dying seconds of the period, and Kane decides, oh, you're just going to hang on to the puck and wait for the. No, you're not. I'm going to come at you. Now, your thoughts here on this?
0.7 seconds.
He definitely catches him up high with. So it's F around and find out for sure.
I like that. I think he tried to flip it in his face. I like that part.
Yeah.
A little bit of rough stuff.
Sure,
That's
come
fine.
get it, bud.
All right.
How many games do
not-
we see where it's like the nod with 2 seconds left?
This
Vander,
you hang
fired
on.
up
We
there.
hang on. Yeah. He should be suspended. That's what we're saying. You get that guy suspended. He should be fined. This guy's a terror. This guy.
What you really want to do is
Which
the league's
one?
out to get
Kane?
us.
Oh yeah, they should.
Who's
Yeah.
supposed
Well, it's Kane. He's 2 games ago. He was doing belly shots there, crushing the guy along the ice,
Wow.
and then now he's got the high stick and the jibs there. This Kane, he's a
menace.
disgrace.
Yeah. Period number 1, 20-minute mark. Evander Kane, 2 minutes for cross-checking.
That's right.
They would not score on the power play, but
They would
did
not
score enough to
score.
win.
How
How about that? No power play goals for the Oilers last night.
Yes. Well, how many power plays did they have?
I'm looking at 3.
That's right. That'll drop that 60%.
They're still over 50.
Well, show
It's
you.
hardly going to do it. Hardly going to do it.
0 for 2, excuse me. Yeah.
Hearing Loss Clinic, online at hearingloss.ca. Men and women of all ages, not just elderly people. Kids, young children can suffer from hearing loss, and there can be serious health risks linked to untreated hearing loss. Hearing Loss Clinic, they've been doing this for a long time. 1993 is when it was founded. Since then, they've been helping Calgarians, Albertans, people in BC get their hearing back, get their quality of life back to just that confidence and need. And you know what? You watch them on social media, and I encourage you to, at The Hearing Loss, Instagram at The Hearing Loss Clinic. Always giving back. They had a nice little event I saw there yesterday.
Really?
They, like us, care about the kids. It's for the kids, guys. Got to give back. The Hearing Loss is all about giving back. Check them out online, hearingloss.ca. Book yourself an evaluation, a 2022 Chamber of Commerce Professional Services Excellence Award winner. There you go. Rhodesy. We got something. What time is our time? I want to talk to you about tacos. You mentioned earlier, I wrote it down. I want to get to this. Tacos. Now, are you fussy when it comes to the tacos? Because I think when you go, when here we are in Canada, I think of when tacos, the crispy round,
Yeah, you're thinking of the
Hard or
full
soft?
it's like the
we grew up on.
hard taco shell, meat in the bottom, then some lettuce, tomatoes, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's probably not what traditional
Correct.
taco people would say is a taco. So that's my question. Can you get down with the hard shell corporate
Love 'em all.
taco?
I
Or do
can
you
do
need
it
to go-
all. I can do
Good
taco
question.
salad. I can do taco bar. I can do soft tacos, hard tacos, fish tacos, pork tacos. I can do
Carnitas, barbacoa.
Yeah.
Let's go.
all the above.
Where
All
are you
the above.
on taco in a bag?
Oh,
I love the taco
explain
in a
for
bag,
those who don't know.
especially late at night. Especially
My
late at night.
kids love it. They
Yeah.
love it.
Explique.
What's not to love? It's
Here's
delicious.
what I'll do. I don't want to no free plugs, of course, and because I am desperately poor, Dollarama, grab the little bags of Doritos. How many people you got? You got 4 people, 5 people. Get 4 bags, 5 bags. Take them home, and then you just dump all whatever you want on your taco meat, sour cream, salsa, green salt, whatever, lettuce, tomato, whatever you put it into the bag, and then you eat it out of the bag. It's a huge hit at my house. I might be
You
doing
got to
that
scrunch
tonight,
those
actually.
chips up, though, right?
That's right. Give them a little scruncharoo.
Yep.
Little cheese in there. Mm-mm.
Oh, I would crush that right now.
I know you would.
Delicious.
I know you would.
Delicious.
And now you, because you're a fancy pants.
I'm a fancy pants. I don't think I've tried it. I think I'd love it.
No, but just the taco thing.
I like the authentic stuff, but my wife loves the hard ones, and I feel like we're faking it a bit on those. So I'm always like, just get
Can
some
we,
soft ones too. And
can
then
we
the
grab
kids.
grab that clip? That'd be great if we could just isolate that and grab that for further use. Thanks, Jack.
She's not allowed
Kids
to have
always
her
make
opinion,
the
Dean.
biggest mess with the hard ones.
Hey, whatever.
It just crumbles and it's everywhere. And I'm like, why are we insisting on it? There's a better way, the real way. It wraps up
about
and you eat it, and it doesn't crumble all over the place.
Now, what happens if you cross over into the burrito? Now, to me, that's just a different wrapping system, but technically,
Yes,
but
it is, and a bigger bigger one as well. The tacos are like the small.
But are you not putting rice and beans in a burrito? It's not necessarily the way you go with the taco.
Correct. Yep.
Right?
They're different. Yep.
I'm going to say
pork and
this. I'm kind of out on the burrito.
I love the burrito. It's massive and filling. You need one and you're done. Tacos, they're little and you can have a bunch of them and they're also great. But a burrito's like big. I'm going to go into a food coma after. I love
the thing. I feel like
Pinder
burrito is too much.
Pinder attacks breakfast burritos.
Love breakfast. It's
all right.
Breakfast burrito's a good thing.
Smaller,
they're not as big too. Yeah.
It's smaller.
Ooh, the bacon.
Jesus.
What about that? I could do that.
Mac and cheese. Look at that.
You know what though? It's too much work to fold your bacon like that to get it all stuck together.
That feels like an art project, or you're showing off.
Yeah. I can tell you this. Tacos, when you have people over, a party, huge hit. Huge hit. And easy. You don't have to time it out. It's just kind of sitting there simmering hot, ready to go. When your friends or kids, whoever's over, they're hungry, go grab a taco.
Yeah.
Make yourself a taco in a bag. Would you like taco salad? You can do as you please.
This is true.
And make it yourself.
Yeah.
We're not going to be serving you. Oh, what do you
similar.
like on yours? What do you like on yours? No. Go do it. Have it the way you like it. Make it yourself.
Here's
You
your
lazy prick.
pico. Here's your jalapenos. Here's your diced
That's right.
tomatoes. Here's your lettuce. Get at it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, it's not too spicy though. Okay, then go make it yourself.
Put some more sour cream on you, Wimp.
Delicious.
No.
What is
That's
that?
not a taco.
That's your breakfast burrito. Scramby eggs, some sausage, and an eggo.
Yuck. Yuck.
No.
Yuck.
Not it.
Delish. This weekend is Mother's Day. We're going to throw it out there one more time. If this catches you off guard, you were unawares.
I got a card.
Not enough, especially after what you just said about your wife. Yeah. Vina Nova, Calgary's lab-grown diamond specialists. We are more and more people. Hey, so lab-grown, eh? What's it? Yes, lab-grown diamonds. It's the way to do things now. It's engagement season. I know Justin was like, well, spring is when they do that. Mother's Day, you got to do. The engagement thing, I mean, put it off for a little while. Are you really sure? Like, I don't know. It seems hasty by June. Hey, I mean, if you do, could definitely go Vina Nova. But for sure, with Mother's Day, maybe it's not a ring. It's not just rings.
It's all kinds of jewelry.
There's earrings and bracelets and all kinds of stuff at Vina Nova. We encourage you to go and check them out downtown in the beautiful showroom in the second level of Stephen Avenue Place, or by all means, go and check it out online as well, vinanova.com. And as Rhett will tell you, because of the shoveler, you can get things delivered just about anywhere. Multiple times, over and over.
I'm in trouble for
Vina Nova. Did you? Vinanova.com is the website. But I would say, because it's a great spot, go and check them out downtown, second level, Stephen Avenue Place. Mother's Day. Do you need to get a card if you get something at Vina Nova?
There's always a card. If you don't get a card, in my house, the card is as important as anything. My kid yesterday got into shit because he didn't open his card first before he opened his birthday present. I'm like, really? This is the line in the sand? Like, you're actually going to make a point of this?
What did we do for the Big Ten?
Nothing.
Thought you were getting someone jumping out of cake.
We did nothing.
Well, he likes burgers, so he got burgers.
Yeah.
No, I think I had to take one of the kids to a hockey game, and I think the shoveler took him to a movie. Just the two of them.
Rhett, it's May. When is it going to be enough with you and your kid in hockey?
I don't think it ends. It really doesn't end, and I am a firm believer in multi-sport discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem to be going over well. Oh, that's not true. We got soccer. Kid scored 4 the other day. We got football. A couple touchdowns on the weekend.
Yeah, tutties.
What movie did they go see? And there's another thing I wanted to talk about. Are we doing movies? When's the last time you've been to a theater?
I'd been to a theater in years, and I went to the Mario movie with my kids and another kid and some other dads. It was a blast.
Yeah.
But like pre-pandemic.
You know what the problem with the movie theater is? There's no effing good movies.
I was going to say, I feel
Everything's a
like,
remake,
like
yeah.
everything. Well, it's not that it's a remake.
Catch-
I just feel like they're putting
Go-
shit
go watch-
online now.
Guardians of the Galaxy again? And pay like I love it's one of my it was great, but it's just a repeat. No more. Need something
No new
original,
ideas.
something good.
Get
And not
AI
too
to make us a
artsy
movie,
either.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Just go see Top Gun again. That's what it is.
Another
Just
Top
go and
Gun.
see Top Gun and not
Actually,
one
I
more
did
time.
see Top Gun. That's a lie. That's
Dun,
two.
Big
I've seen.
fan of, what's her name? Jennifer
Connelly.
Connelly.
Yeah.
Chief fan of yours?
Tremendous actress.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous. St. Eugene Golf Course. They have a golf course. They have a hotel,
Spa?
restaurants,
Hot pools?
spa, casino.
Ooh.
I mean, go play the piano. Feel the felt. Double down. Split the eights. We never talked about how bad Mandeep was at roulette that night after the playoff draft.
Can you be bad at roulette?
Oh man, he
What
was
are you
bad.
talking about?
It's a
Oof.
random
Game of
number.
chance.
So you're not spreading it over the table well?
I was
You just
standing there,
corners the whole time or what?
And he's like, "Hey, Boom, are we gonna play some roulette?" I'm like, "Oh, no, yeah." I turned to talk to somebody. I turned back and I was like, "Oh, there's a quick 50." It's like, what'd you do? Did they even unbelievably quick? Trust Mandeep for a lot of things, not for his roulette prowess.
Yeah, good deal on
Leave
pussies.
the green,
Trust
eh?
him.
Big green,
Saint
green.
Eugene Golf Resort and Casino. You can go with Mandeep, just don't, maybe he's like one of
Don't
those
listen to
bad
this
luck
roulette
guys.
advice. Yeah, it's cooler.
Beautiful spot, all seriousness.
That old
about,
barn there, hey?
About St. Eugene. Can't wait to get out there. Championship golf course, casino, spa, restaurants, mountains surrounding you in all directions. Rediscover or for the first time discover the St. Eugene Golf Resort and Casino. The Spring Swing Golf Package. We're getting down to it up until May 17th. $259, you and a friend. You're golfing, you're staying. $259 for a night's stay for you and a friend, a round of golf, and the power card. $259, and that's available up until the 17th of May. Limited time offer. Book it now online at steugene.ca. Online, St. Eugene Resort on both Twitter and Instagram. Spa. You could use a massage on your neck after that snoring session you had there.
I was going to say maybe you should get in to see outdoor dental before you go out there, and
that's right.
But you've been really good by then.
Betway Bets, and we'll get on with our what I believe to be a Tuesday.
Yep.
Did you see that Robert De Niro just had a kid?
What?
Bob De Niro just had his 7th child. He, 79 years old. 79.
what else are you going to do? You're 79.
I have more questions for the mom than the dad at this point, to be honest.
Do you ever think about it? How many years you got left? You know?
If we have as many as De Niro's got, we're in great shape.
Like, I just wouldn't have guessed you'd still be firing field goals at 79, I figured at some point it's like, no, it's out of my repertoire now. Of all the things I do in life, that's it. Huh?
I don't
Trying to
really
see what
think
his wife
about it
looks
all
like.
that much at all. No, no.
You're not at that point in your
He's
life.
not even married? What the
You start
hell?
thinking about more. Oh, he's divorced twice, has a lady friend, apparently. 6 other kids. He did an interview. He said, "Oh, so you have 6 kids? Actually, I have 7. I just had my 7th.
Holy shit.
Whoa. So good on him,
You got lots
guess.
of
Collected
dough.
the full set. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. 79.
Is that what you want to be doing when you're 79? Like,
No.
oh yeah, we're up at 3 again.
I don't think that he's living the same as the
I don't
three of
think
us.
he is
right?
either. I
Do you
just-
think
but
that maybe
same
someone?
time, like, what's the payoff here for him? Or does he just not care? Hot.
Well, I think it's that.
girlfriend
What's
that's
the
my age
downside?
wants a
It's a
kid, right?
child.
Another kid.
What are we up? What the hell? I got 6 and 7's gonna just derail me and take my life down the shitter. Like,
Well, if 6 is like 30 now, yeah.
I feel like probably the 6 are kind of out and about and living on their own by now. All of a sudden, you got a baby living in the house with you.
Well, you're
I'm still
just
more
like a
impressed.
baby. You can nap with them, and that's great. Same
More
schedules.
Kind of fascinated at the
both might be wearing
science side
diapers
of
at the
it.
same time here soon. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Either way, fucking good for him, right?
I
Jesus
guess.
Christ,
I
fucking
mean,
Bobby De
he's
Niro.
screwing. That's good. Maybe it's a test tube baby, and this. Who cares?
I don't know why. So what are you saying? Bob can't get it up? Is that
No,
what you're
I'm
saying?
that we'd love to say, hey, nice work
Real
on still
nice.
fucking Bobby, but we don't even know if that's the case.
Hope it's his now.
There you go. See?
Oh boy, gotta go. Me and
See
A
you,
Bob.
lot
Rhett.
of questions.
We didn't do
Betway
your
Bets. Betway Bets. There we go. Betway. Get the Betway app on your phone. Bet the responsible way with Betway. Dallas, Seattle. I'm taking the over. I believe all of the games have been over the 6-goal mark. So I'm going over 5.5 and a point for Rupe Hintz.
Rupe.
Plus 150.
I like that.
I like that. The other, it's a little Carolina, New Jersey bet. Sebastian Aho and Jack Hughes. Points. Here again. 1+ point for Aho and Hughes. Also plus money. Plus 105. Love these bets of the day.
Wasn't that last game's combatants? Didn't they get into
that's
a
right.
tussle?
Sebastian
right.
Aho and Jack Hughes were shooting the old Dukes.
Kind of, yeah. It
Yeah.
kind of looked like more, we described it as what, grappling?
You know what it was? They were
Jiu-jitsu.
feisty.
They were feisty. Jiu-jitsu. There you go.
Deep.
I will roll with, let's keep Jack Hughes hot. It's going to be good for the series. It's going to be good for entertainment. First goal of the game, plus 700. Woo! Jackie boy, let's go. Big game hunting. And Dougie Hamilton, 1 assist. That doesn't seem crazy, does it?
No.
Dougie?
Dougie's good.
Dougie. If the baggage handler's there and he's feeling good, he's good for an apple, plus 135.
There you go.
Betway Bets today.
Get the Betway app. Get it on your phone. Play along. Be 19. Ontario. Come on now. Smarten up. Show tomorrow. Working on it. Well, working on a few things. Some things might fall into our lap. We don't know.
I think either way we should do it.
Well, what are you going to have?
It's high
3
drama,
guests?
and I want to. Oh, the other things. 3 guests.
There's maybe stuff.
Sorry. Okay. I apologize that we were talking about something else.
I don't want to mention the guy's name and then give him the old heave ho because then it's like, oh yeah, that's although we kind of mentioned. Either way, we're probably gonna have somebody on the show tomorrow. Maybe talk about the Leafs. Maybe talk about Team Canada. Maybe talk about the Flames. We just don't know.
A lot there.
It's a lot there.
Greg Conroy coming on tomorrow. All right,
Not
good
true.
stuff.
What's
Nope.
up for the rest of your day there? Taco in a bag?
We're gonna go cook tacos.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
That's
Me
it.
too.
Sounds like good living right there.
That's great living. Hey, buddies, thanks for being a part of the show today. Really appreciate you for
See you tomorrow.
I don't know.
Keep your eyes open for the old nation wheels spinning around town.
And by the way, Nation Gear, if you go to nationgear.ca, barn burner t-shirts and hoodies now available. Just shield your eyes when you go to the front page because it's a lot about the Oilers Nation and Oilers gear right now because apparently they're in the playoffs or something. So just click on the Flames Nation link and you can get access there to barn burner tees and hoodies if you so choose. Love it if you would.
do it.
See you tomorrow, buddies. Nah.